Hey guys, hey, this is Anne Marie of the AntiHR channel, and I just wanted to drop a quick video and say this. Resting does not mean ignorance. Resting does not give us an excuse to be unaware. And I think some of us are mistaking resting for apathy and being ignorant and unaware. And that's not what this is about. As Black people, and especially as Black women, we cannot afford to not pay attention to what's going on around us. We don't always have to do anything about what is happening, but we must always be vigilant and we must always be aware. And that is why I posted in the community about the white woman judge who was arrested in Wisconsin, because I think it is something that is a huge wake-up call for everyone who lives in the United States of America. Because the reality is that when they start arresting judges, democracy is literally got a whole foot in the grave. The Constitution, this is not about causing a constitutional crisis. America is in the midst of a constitutional crisis. And Black people need to be paying attention, because when full authoritarianism is declared, we are the ones who are going to catch the most hell, as always. So we've got to pay attention to what is going on. And I still don't necessarily think we need to be outside marching, but I do think we need to be paying attention and we need to be making plans. Those of us who have plans need to be making plans and activating plans, because this is something to be very concerned about. And I think folks should be paying attention to what happens in response to this arrest of this judge over the next week or so. Because when they start arresting judges, you should be worried. A judge has a right to tell agents to leave their courtroom. A judge has a right to do that and routinely do it, right? And so for them to put this judge under arrest for that reason and claim she's obstructing justice, if that is allowed to move forward as valid, big problems. I also think that we need to be paying very close attention to the situation in New York, where the Department of Justice and the Department of the Treasury are seeking to target the Attorney General of the state of New York. This is Letitia, I never remember her name because I always just think of her as Big Tish in New York, but I'll put her name on the screen. But she is the Attorney General. This is a Black woman, graduated from Howard, went to Howard Law School. She is the one who we can thank for ensuring that Donald Trump has those felonies that he has, and he hates her like God hates sin. And there's no question that this is politically motivated, and we need to be paying attention to what is happening there, right? And Black folks in New York need to be ready to activate themselves if necessary in response to what is happening. So this is not a time to think you just get to lay down, sit down in your house and drink tea and not be aware of what is happening. Because when they start targeting people, we will be at the top of the list. I am in South Africa, and today I went on a tour of a township in South Africa, where I got to see not only how people, Black people in South Africa, continue to live in abject poverty. A lot of them, not everybody, but a significant number of them. And it was heartbreaking. And I'll probably say more about it on my travel channel at some point. But I literally had to go lay in my bed for a little while to process what I saw today. It was very upsetting. And part of the tour was giving us a history lesson about apartheid and describing apartheid in detail. And I think that, the idea that things cannot get worse is something that we need to recognize isn't true. It can get a whole lot worse. And it will get a whole lot worse in the United States of America if people do not take necessary action, and if they don't take it now. And people primarily need to be white people, as I've said. They need to be in front of that courthouse in Wisconsin by the thousands. I know a handful are down there protesting right now. They need thousands of people. Millions of white people need to be willing to lay on the ground and put their lives on the line to save this country they claim that they love, and to save the democracy that they claim that they care so much about. And if that doesn't happen, this time next year, there will be no democracy. And I'm very serious in saying that. There might not even be one by Christmas, because this stuff is even moving faster than I thought it would move. And I am not an optimist. So I really do think that, as I listened to our tour guide talk about what was done to Black people in South Africa, and this is a situation where white people of Dutch descent came to Africa, settled there, and then basically turned the people who they found there into their personal slaves. And they may not have called them slaves, but that basically is how people were functioning, where they had to have passes, everybody had to have a number. It was appalling just to listen to it and to see the historical records about it, and to learn that the Dutch government in South Africa studied what the Nazis did in Germany. Does that sound familiar? Because, the Nazis studied America and Jim Crow to come up with what they did with the Jews and others in Germany, right? Before World War II and during World War II, right? And so to find out that they went and copied some of what they learned from the Nazis to do what they did to set up the apartheid system in South Africa and enforce it with an iron fist. It's important to understand that just because a group is in the minority does not mean that they cannot hold majority power over the majority of people. And so people like to say, oh, well, a majority of Americans don't believe that, or a majority of Americans don't agree with this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And historians and others have been sounding alarm about this for years, that America was moving in a direction where a minority mindset and a minority belief could take over the country. And now America is there, right? Because the Republicans control both houses of government. They control the Senate, they control the House. There are majority of the judges on the Supreme Court were appointed by Republicans, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go along with everything, as we are seeing. But if they are not willing to enforce their orders, which means issuing warrants for people to be arrested who do not carry out their orders, which I don't see judges doing, which they have the power to do, then America is done. Toast. As is the citizens and people who live there. And so I think people need to really take what is happening seriously, because I learned a lot today about the depth of evil that exists in the world, and the things that certain sectors of the a certain demographic is willing to do to hold on to power, right? And so I really think that this is not the time to say, oh, well, they voted for this and we don't have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to what's going on. And you have to determine when it's time for you to do something and what it is that you are going to do to protect yourself and your community, because the time is coming when it's not going to be enough to just take a nap and drink tea. So I just wanted to get on there and say that, because I'm over here reading what's going on. And, I expected at some point that they would start arresting public officials that wouldn't go along with their program. But we are only January, February, March, April, 4 months into this craziness, and it's already happening. I was thinking, sometime in the last quarter of the year it would start. It's already started. This is the first arrest. I don't expect it to be the last unless people take massive action to respond to this. It won't be the last, because they are going to strong arm their way into whatever it is they want if nobody stops them. So I just wanted to get on here and say, to the people coming into my comments saying, oh, well, we don't have to be sympathetic. This isn't about you being sympathetic to other people's plight. It's about self-preservation and paying attention to what's happening, understanding that if they will do this to someone that looks like them, someone that looks like their mama and their sister, what do you think they will do with political figures that look like us who are pushing against them, judges that look like us who are pushing against them? What do you think is going to happen? And then what are you prepared to do? So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I'm reading comments and I'm wondering whether people think that they get to be apathetic and ignorant and unaware because we're, quote, resting. And I just want us to understand that some of this is actually our business, and we have to pay attention to it. And we have to have a plan of action for what you're going to do. You can't just wait to see what's going to happen. You have to start thinking in terms of what is the worst thing that could happen, and what do you plan to do if it does? Because things are not looking very good. People keep asking me, as an American and as a Black American, what I think of what is happening. People have come up to me since I've arrived in South Africa to ask me, like, what is going on in the U.S.? What is happening? What do people think about it? And I always tell them, I'm very honest with people about what I think and why this is happening, but also what I think it means for Black people in America, right? Because they understand that we didn't vote for this. Like, they understand that in South Africa that we didn't vote for this, but they also understand that what America does has an impact on the rest of the world. We don't live on an island. Our currency, our economy, other people's economies are impacted by what is happening, not just with the tariffs, but with so many other decisions, horrible decisions that have been made since January 20th. So I think it's important for us to understand that if people on the other side of the world are concerned, that we don't get to pretend that it's not happening. And minding your business and resting does not equal ignorance and doesn't give you an excuse to be ignorant and unaware. There's a Nigerian saying that I love, that I've heard a lot on social media of late, but I love it, which is, wisdom is chasing some of us, but we run very fast. Let us not be some of the people who choose to outrun wisdom. When wisdom is chasing you, let it catch you. Don't think that you get to be ignorant and unaware because you're resting. Don't use that as an excuse to be ignorant, right? Do not try to outrun wisdom. Do not try to outrun reality, right? Because these things are happening all around you, especially if you live in the U.S. And so you cannot choose ignorance and unawareness and think that it's going to be the security blanket that will save you, because it will not. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm really a little concerned about some of the things that I see people saying, not just in my comments, but on social media as well. And I think it's important for us to understand as Black folk that these things are going to have a significant impact on our communities. So the time of minding our business and resting is a time for thinking and planning, not just sitting in the house and sipping tea and acting like the world isn't on fire, because in fact it is, right? And so you've got to have a plan for what you're going to do as this is going on. So I really do hope that we are taking this time to be making plans for what we're going to do as things progress, right? Because things are progressing, and they're progressing at a rate that is even more rapid than even I, probably the biggest pessimist out here, would have even predicted. So y'all stay safe over there. I am going to get back to my holiday now, but I just wanted to, make this quick message for you guys because it's not looking really good from where I'm sitting. And so I'm wondering, whether people are understanding what is really happening. And I think it's important to be aware and understand what these things mean that are taking place, and to keep an eye on some of the things that I just mentioned. I think that we should be keeping an eye on what's going on with the Attorney General in New York. We should be paying close attention to that. We should be paying close attention when people start saying things on Fox News about arresting judges, that they don't have to listen to court orders if they don't agree with it, and if they think it obstructs whatever their president's agenda is, that they don't have to listen. These are things that everyone should be concerned about, right? So it's not something that you can just sit on your hands and say, well, it doesn't matter. It actually does matter, because it's going to impact everyone, not just the people who voted for this BS, everybody. And so you have to figure out what that means for you. Okay. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sure you guys will have comments. I'm really happy that you guys are engaging with my video about sinners. I'm glad so many of you have gone to see it. I want to say again that if you have not gone to see it, please do. I mean, it is a movie that is right on time, especially considering what is happening in America right now. The messaging, what it is trying to tell us about our resilience, our power, the importance of our culture as Black people, not just Black people in America, but across diaspora, I think is very important. I love the messages of it. As I said, I'm planning to see it again before I come back to that side of the world. And I really think it's a movie that every Black person, no matter where you happen to be, whether you're in America, whether you're in South Africa, where lots of people are going to see it here as well, wherever you are in the world, if it is showing Where you are, please go see it. Please support Black film, and please support this movie. Honestly, I think it is the most important movie I've seen in a very, very long time as a Black person. And I think that it's a movie that everyone needs to see, but especially us. And see it, take your kids, take your friends, see it more than once. Let's run the numbers up. Run them up, Black people, right? So that they cannot say that movies like this with Black people as the center don't sell and don't do well. The movie is almost at 100 million when I checked before I made this video, and they're saying that it will probably hit 100 million by Sunday, by the end of the weekend. So if you haven't seen it, let's make that happen for Ryan Coogler. Run the numbers up, Black people. Run them up. Run them up. But also pay close attention to what's going on, because things are getting really concerning in the political system and the political structure of the United States of America. So I just wanted to throw that out there. As always, I appreciate you guys supporting my channel. If you enjoyed this video, please do stop for a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Please comment, but comment constructively, because y'all know, even while I'm away, I do block people. I'm not the one of the two, y'all. Don't come into my comments talking crazy. It's not a democracy up in here. Like I said before, I've said in other videos, since y'all, are heading into authoritarianism, then you should understand that in my comments there's not democracy. So if you come in there talking crazy, you will not be there for very long, and neither will your comment. So please comment constructively, but thanks always for your support. Thank you for being here. Thank you for following me. Thank you for supporting my work. I would be remiss if I don't remind you that while I am away, I am also continuing to share content inside the AntiHR community. I just shared a post in the community where I talked a little bit more in depth about my thoughts about the tour that I did today in the township in Cape Town, South Africa, and my thoughts about what I saw. Because I really had to come home and get in the fetal position. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't even go to dinner with the rest of the group this evening because I needed to sit with myself with what I saw. And I just wasn't feeling even like being social. That's how upsetting some of what I saw was to me. So I literally wrote something in the community about what I saw and what I felt that I would not share on YouTube. So I'm sharing, content there. I wouldn't even share that on my travel channel because, as I said, I'm very aware that some of the things that I really think and feel, people would report my channel if I said what I really thought. So I put that in my community. So if you really want to see some of the things that I really think about certain subjects, join the AntiHR community. It's only $12 a month for annual membership, $20 a month for monthly membership. And I am still posting there and in here while I am traveling because I didn't have time to pre-record as much material as I wanted because I just got super busy with some other things. So I'm doing some content creation while I am here. The time difference is actually making it easier for me to do that. So I just want to throw that out there, but I appreciate so much those of you who have joined the community, who are participating, who are engaging with the forum that is inside of the community where we talk about different topics. We also have talked about sinners inside of the community. So join me there, not just here, but join me over there for more in-depth commentary that I have on some of these topics where I can say things in there that I would not necessarily feel comfortable sharing on somebody else's platform. Okay? Thanks again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon in the next one. I have a story time coming up soon that I think you all will also enjoy. See ya. Bye.